the 10th Big Freeze game, a huge game for Melbourne and Collingwood for more reasons than one. Let's get into it. So before we get into it, of course, the usual stuff. Like, comment, subscribe. We're nearly at 8,000 subscribers, and that's a huge milestone for me if we can get there. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed, just hit that subscribe button. Really easy, really free, and really simple, and I would appreciate it so much. But now, let's talk about this game. So a game like this, I feel like form line doesn't matter at all. You know, you look at last week and how Melbourne got thrashed by Fremantle. You look at how we got beaten by the Western Bulldogs. And I really think that it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. How many times have we said, oh, Gold Coast are going to play their grand final against us. Oh, Carlton are going to play their grand final against us. Oh, you know, it's when it's Collingwood and when you're the reigning premiers, when you're the hunted, people come at you. They come for that throne, you know what I mean? So it is going to be just an absolutely huge game where we're definitely not going to see the Melbourne that got thrashed by Fremantle last week. There's no way that they come out after it's only been, they did that on Sunday, and it's only been a couple of days, and the media is just going at them, all at them. They're lazy, they're slow. Do they even want it, etc., etc. So they're going to want to prove all of them wrong, which is fair enough. Like, we would do the exact same thing as well. But I just don't think that we get a repeat of the Melbourne that rocked up the other week against Fremantle. And it is going to be a hard-fought win. And it is going to be a hard-fought game. When you think about it, the last time we played Melbourne was that qualifying final, and it was just intense. I know we ended up winning by a couple of points, and we had the ascendancy for most of that game. And then that last quarter, Joel Smith kicked a couple of goals, and they were on fire. We were really holding, hoping the damn wall didn't break. A bunch of heroics from like IQ and all those guys in the back. Dan McStay was huge. So they're going to want to atone for their sins back then and what they did wrong. And of course, it'd be remiss of me not to mention the Braden Maynard, Brayshaw sort of incident. And we won't go into the incident, but we know what to expect from the Melbourne fans. We know what to expect online. We know what to expect from the Melbourne players. I dare say they probably go up straight to him, and there'll probably be a fight before the first bounce. Is what I'm getting at. Especially, you know, like a Viney or something, or someone's going to do something, and it's going to it's going to be very, very interesting. In saying all that, you know, you look at Collingwood's side, and we hadn't lost in like 8 or something weeks. We go out, we lose to the Bulldogs by 3 goals. But that's not before we really gave them a run for their money in the first 3 quarters. And we're decimated by injuries. You know, yes, okay, if you're a Bulldog supporter watching this, which I have had recently, Bulldogs had a few players out as well. But I'm not talking about those guys. We're decimated by injuries at the moment. And to keep up and do what we did with the team that we had is incredible. The game should have been over at quarter time. And that kind of gives me hope for this game. And I know it's going to come bite me on the ass, but I tweeted during the Melbourne game that we're going to win this game by 30 points. And, you know, maybe we don't win it by 30 points. Maybe we don't win it at all. But I know that we lost against the Doggies, but that game gave me a little bit of confidence. And I don't know if it's a false prophet. I don't know if it's false confidence. But this team, even though we haven't got, you know, 7 premiership players playing because they're all injured, and we've got, you know, an injury list of 15 or whatever it is, they can get the job done. We've seen it time and time again. You know, I know we only beat Adelaide by 4 points and we drew against Fremantle, but drawing against Fremantle over there and seeing what they did against Melbourne, you go, okay, we would definitely take that draw. You know, we definitely take that draw. So I think this is going to be a really big test. You know, not only for Collingwood, but it's a really big test for Melbourne as well. But I think on the Pies side of things, this might be the game that kickstarts our season. Like, really kickstarts our season. Like, I went into these 3 game patches, the Bulldogs, Melbourne, and North Melbourne, as saying, if we can win 1 of 3, we need to win. That's bare minimum, 1 of 3. But I think we can win 2 of 3. I was very weary about the Western Bulldogs. I know we said we'd win, but I was very weary about them because we don't play well at Marvel against Marvel tenants. So I would love to knock off Melbourne because I think they're ripe for the picking, and that's not to say because they get smashed by Fremantle by 90 something points. But you look at their form line; they beat St Kilda because they beat St Kilda. They lose to the West Coast Eagles, they lose to Carlton, and they just get over the top of Geelong. So I think they're in this precarious sort of stage of their season where if these wins start surmounting, they're what are they? They're 10th at the moment. So if these wins start sort of bouldering up and snowballing, you know, I think we might be able to put a nail into the Melbourne season's coffin. I know it's very early, but I've just got a weird feeling, and I don't know if weird feelings are good or weird feelings are bad, but I just feel like we might be able to knock them off here. One thing that sort of gives me confidence that we can potentially knock them off is Melbourne are doing really poorly this season for contested possession when they've got pressure on them. You look at that Fremantle game, they're fumbling, and Fremantle must have known that because they were like hunting in packs. It wasn't even just tackling pressure, it was perceived pressure as well. Like, it was something that Collingwood's been doing for the entirety of the season to other teams. That's something that we do so well. Like, I think we were plus 25 or something in tackles last week against the Doggies. We were a little bit down on tackles inside 50. If we can just sort of amp that up and put the pressure on when they're in there, I think that's where the game is won and lost, and that's our bread and butter. Pressure pies is our bread and butter, and as soon as you start putting a little bit of the irony of putting a little bit of heat on the Melbourne Demons for them to crumble, I think that'll go a long way. I don't think this will be a close game like our last 3 games have been. And in between it all, yes, there's a big clash, and it's a qualifying final replay, but it's the big freeze and what Neil Danaher has been able to do, and his team and his daughter and Beck and stuff like that. I was hearing today that they've raised nearly $96 million or something over the last 10 years, and that's absolutely incredible. And it's the beast, right? That's what they call it, and you got to beat the beast, and what the AFL's been able to do and what Collingwood and Melbourne have been able to do these last 10 years to change this big clash into this big freeze clash is so good. And we need to freeze M&D, and I haven't purchased the beanie yet, as you can see, but I'm gonna go grab a beanie when I can. And I'd love to see that MCG just full of blue beanies, and it's for such a good cause as well. And yeah, it's just, oh man, Neil Danaher is such an inspiration, and if you can just take a little bit of learnings out of what he's trying to teach and what he's sort of doing, and his persistence, and he can't talk and stuff, and he can barely move and stuff like that, and he just keeps fighting and he just keeps going. And he visited Melbourne, he visited Collingwood, and I know both teams would have gotten something out of it. I got something out of it watching the footage. And I've got friends who have gone through M&D with their family members, and I've had a family member go through it as well. And it warms the heart, and seeing all these people sort of come together, and it's not just that; it's the same for any sort of big event that Collingwood, sorry, not Collingwood, that's the AFL sort of do, and how the community sort of bands together. So I love this, and Collingwood may win, Collingwood may lose, but the real winner here is the fight against MND, and I think that's beautiful. So my big call and prediction, I'm going to stick with my gut. I'm going to say Collingwood by 30 points. My big call though, I think it's not. Would it be no? Okay, I'm gonna say I'm not gonna do big calls with team selections. I'm gonna say my big call. Not teasing it, but I've been saying it for a long time. I feel like this might be the game where Bobby Hill gets off the leash. He's been teasing it a little bit. I think he's been my big call 1 or 2 previous times. But we need a big Bobby Hill game. We haven't got big forwards. They've got Stephen May. They got a good defense, albeit not against Fremantle. But but they're a championship side, right? They're a really good side, Melbourne, so we're going to get them all. But our smalls need to come to the party. I dare say Kruger probably plays as well, but I want to see Bobby Hill kick 3 or 4 goals like he did at the qualifying, like he did against the Giants, like he did all final series in the grand final. I need this game to be Bobby Hill's game. And I think we're going to see it. 3 or 4 goals for Bobby Hill is my big call. But anyway, guys, leave me your predictions down below. How do you think this game is going to play out? The winning margin, who's going to win? Let me know all your thoughts down below. But until then, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets, and until next time, double shackers. I'll swoop you later.